1 in 12 male rats develop malignant brain tumors or malignant heart tumors or precancerous lesions. None of the rats in the control group developed tumors of the brain or heart or precancerous lesions. Birth weights for exposed animals were also lower than in the control group. Microwave News, which announced the impending release of results, cited an unnamed source within the NTP that senior scientists wanted to get this information out to the public as soon as possible. Chris Portier, former associate director of the NTP, called the study, quote, a game changer, and, quote, a wake-up call to the scientific establishment. These results concur with human studies such as the 5-country interphone study, which found significant 40 to 95% increases in glioma after only 10 years for cell phone usage as little as a half an hour a day. The latency for brain tumors is normally 15 to 30 years. The World Health Organization, the IARC, listed this radiation as a Class B2 carcinogen way back 5 years ago in 2011. The NTP study was designed to mimic human exposure and look at effects on all parts of the body. Consumer Affairs says, quote, rats are commonly used in cancer studies because their reactions to various carcinogens are similar to humans, end quote. The study intentionally kept exposure levels low, below levels that would increase body temperature. As a result, the cancers were not caused by thermal effects. Current FCC exposure limits are only based on thermal effects. Wireless devices are tested for compliance with these thermal limits, but are not safety tested. The frequency tested was 900 millihertz for 10 minutes on and 10 minutes off for a cumulative time of 9 hours per day. This frequency is close to that used by other wireless devices, including PG&E wireless smart meters. The American Cancer Society called the NTP report, quote, good science, saying NTP staff were clearly aware of the potential importance of the study and went the extra distance to ensure the best science is used. They used double the number of animals required for the study. They convened not 1 but 3 panels to look at abnormal tissues from treated animals to ensure that what was identified as a brain and heart tumor was indeed a brain and heart tumor. They solicited review from multiple scientists from outside the NTP to critically review all aspects of the data analysis and study findings to ensure that the findings would stand up to critical assessment expected once these unexpected findings were released. On Friday, the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers released a statement with comments from Ken Foster of the IEE committee that reviews RF exposure limits. Within the NTP study results, Foster expects more governments to put out cautionary guidelines and radiation labeling for cell phones. He says he wouldn't be surprised if California adds RF radiation to its Proposition 65 list of carcinogenic chemicals, and if the IARC ups its classification rating from 2B, which is possibly carcinogenic to humans, to 2A, probably carcinogenic to humans. And they wouldn't be out of line in doing that, he says. This is going to change the rhetoric in the field. People can point to much more hard evidence that cell phone RF exposure really is a problem. Finally, the IEE calls the NTP studies, quote, the gold standard for animal cancer assays. The National Toxicology Program is part of the National Institute of Health and tests substances for toxicity and effects on human health. I'd just like to finish by saying that I know many of my friends here that have talked on this issue over and over again for the past many years have gotten a deaf ear from this body. And I'm here to say that that's not acceptable. That we're pointing out something that's very, very important, the health of our children. And we provide these studies, and this body, a couple of years ago, under the old superintendent, was going to wire, had all the plans going forward to wire the schools. And then change of administration, and all of a sudden now you're going back to wireless. And you can accomplish what you need to accomplish with a wired, safe system. And I cannot understand how all of you people all the board members who went out of your way to run for election to represent us think it's okay to ignore us. It's not. It truly is not. You know, we just had something at the Fullerton City Council where the mayor tried to tell us that we weren't allowed to politely clap. It's called the new civility rules. Well, got voted down. Well, civility is more than just being civil and speaking nicely and smiling at people. It's showing mutual respect. And when we're not responded to, you're showing us no mutual respect. Just like Mr. Imbriano said, the fact that we have to wait till 10, 11 o'clock to speak, we're last on your agenda, shows that you're not showing us much mutual respect. That our opinions are so unimportant that we could be last at every meeting. That does not show much respect. Civility is a two-way street, and I hope you consider what we're saying, and finally stop ignoring us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One more on the budget.
There's three more.
One more on what?
Sonia.
There's 4 of these breast cancer and cell phones. And maybe 2 of you can share, like we do in school. My name is Diane Hickey, and this is in regards to the budgeting for more wireless. More cancer studies have come out over the past year and a half. A German study led by Dr. Alexander Lerchel demonstrated RF EMFs produce clear co-carcinogenic effects. These are levels that many, if not most, of our children are exposed to with Wi-Fi at school when using laptops and tablet PCs. The Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, IEEE, not a health agency, but a technical professional organization, published an article in March titled "Some Effects of Weak Magnetic Fields on Biological Systems," acknowledging that RF fields can change radical concentrations and cancer cell growth rates. U.S. exposure guidelines are set by the FCC and based on American National Standards Institute and IEEE recommendations. The National Toxicology Program, part of the National Institute of Health and world-renowned for toxicology research, the gold standard in research, has reported partial findings from their $25 million study of cancer risk from RF radiation. The study showed RF caused 2 types of tumors. The American Cancer Society called the NTP report good science. The IEE released a statement with comments from Ken Foster of the committee that reviews RF exposure limits. With the NTP study results, he said he wouldn't be surprised if California adds RF radiation to its Prop 65 list of carcinogenic chemicals, and if the IARC ups its classification rating from 2B to 2A, probably carcinogenic to humans. This is a quote, "This is going to change the rhetoric in the field. People can point to much more hard evidence that RF exposure really is a problem." A May 3rd CBS Baltimore news segment is titled "New Research Links Cell Phones to Health Issues in Children," with a quote by Dr. Deborah Davis, President, Environmental Health Trust. "The weight of evidence is clear. Cell phones do cause brain cancer. Breast cancer is also identified with wireless radiation exposure. Tiffany France carried a cell phone in her bra for 5 years. At the age of 21, she was diagnosed with a rare form of breast cancer right under the surface of her skin, right under the antennas of her phone. An open letter from Tiffany's mother provides her history. Left mastectomy in 2012. 2013, breast cancer metastasized to her hip, pelvis, spine, sternum, and skull. June 2014, cancer metastasized to her liver. Dr. John West, Director of Surgery at the BreastLink Medical Practice in Orange County, has seen a number of cases that have convinced him there is a connection between cell phone radiation and breast cancer. Among other serious health hazard effects, RF radiation causes cancer, and it must be immediately removed from our children's school environment. You will be held criminally responsible for your actions.
Well, thank you very much.
Sonia.
This is for information only tonight. We'll now.
We got some more speakers, Doc. There's 2 more people.
To,
Do they do a blue card?
It's a public hearing.
David Martinez.
it's on,
Go ahead, Sonia.
okay, we're hearing quite a bit on wireless. I think it's time to move on.
It's a public hearing, Doc.
On the budget.
That's right. Wireless is part of the budget.
That's what you're spending the money on.
Nice
We'll
try.
leave these, the next 3 minutes only.
Keep them at 3
Thank
minutes.
you. Mr. David Martinez.
Okay. Just stop talking on the budget.
After a board voted on Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. with no minutes or recordings of the proceedings to deploy wireless systems in the Fullerton Unified High School District against the warnings of experts in spite of the evidence of harm, this is a formal and legal demand to turn off all Wi-Fi systems and wireless devices at Troy High School pursuant to California Education Code Sections 32060 and 32065. The legislature finds and declares that art supplies which contain toxic substances which are potential human carcinogens pose a significant danger to the health and safety of school children. The legislature also finds and declares that school children are not sufficiently protected by present health laws insofar as materials which may seriously be harmful are not to be labeled, and therefore children are not properly warned as to the dangers inherent in the use of those materials. The legislature intends by this article to ensure that elementary school children are protected by prohibiting the sale of these toxic substances to schools, school districts, and private schools for use in kindergarten and grades 1 to 6 inclusive, and that the toxic substances may be purchased by schools, school districts, and private schools for students in grades 7 to 12 inclusive, only if the materials are properly labeled as described in section 3266024. 326061. Art or craft material means any raw or processed material or manufactured product marketed or being represented by the manufacturer or repackager as being suitable for use in the demonstration or the creation of any work of visual or graphic art of any medium. These media may include, but shall not be limited to, paintings, drawings, prints, sculpture, ceramics, enamels, jewelry, stained glass, plastic, sculpture, photographs, and leather and textile goods. Human carcinogen means any substance listed as a human carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Potential human carcinogen means one of the following: any substance which does not meet the definition of human carcinogen, but for which there exists sufficient evidence for carcinogenicity in animals as determined by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Any chemical shown to be changed by the human body into a human carcinogen.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Ms. Sonia Townsend.
Good evening, Lord. I know that it's late and you're really tired, and believe me, we're tired too. And it really makes me sad as I look out and I'm thinking, we don't enjoy coming here. We're trying to inform you. Again, I'm Sonia Townsend. I'm a president of California Nurses for Ethical Standards, and I'm coming here on my own behalf. We're trying to inform you that our children are in danger with this radiation, that it is wire, it is industrial. and I know you've run for this office because you care about children. So I'm really puzzled. I don't understand what it is that you don't understand about looking to peer-reviewed tests with scientists, with engineers. That is proven, the science is there. The science is there. This actually reminds me of the time when as Common Core, and you notice I have a t-shirt, it says no Common Core on here, and that's what I ran on. I ran on no Common Core. I went to a meeting, a forum that Jack Bedell, happens to be my neighbor, held after so many times I went to the Orange County Board of Education, telling them about what's going on with Common Core. And I know there's a lot of people and teachers and students that don't like it. And I actually had a mom, we viewed it, in fact it's taped, where she was begging him to vote against Common Core. And it makes me think, and it makes me upset, and it makes me sad that we have elect people and you don't listen to us. Okay? He wasn't listening, and it was a mom begging for him not to vote against Common Core. And that's what made me want to run. Okay? It's not like I don't have anything to do. I'm a nurse, I'm a mom, I have a life. I don't like spending my time here having to talk and tell you to protect our children. And I'm all emotional because it makes me sad, and I know you guys are parents, many of you. It makes me sad that you're not listening and take action on this. All right? And that's why the ordinary people like us want to run and do something, because you're not listening to us. What is it going to take? What is it going to take? I have an article here, and you heard it, about where a rat, they expose it to 900 megahertz of a cell phone radiation, and they did a test, and then what happens is the radiation, it hardens the outside layer of the ovum. And you know that the girls are born with all the eggs we're going to have in the rest of our lifetime, and it hardens it, the shell. It hardens the outside, so it makes the sperm penetration more difficult. If that isn't increasing infertility, what is? What is? Our infertility rates are skyrocketing. Okay, our health, our children are diminishing. Our children have diabetes. They're obese. Why? Are we not going to pay attention? And I'm so sorry. I don't normally get emotional, but I'm just really sad because tonight is election night. Okay, and I really wanted to make a difference. And I hope that you will consider making a difference for our children. Thank you very much.